The workshop that I'm running the most at the moment is around how you craft your culture towards high performance. And in the organizations that I'm running these workshops with, one of the consistent conversations that I'm really enjoying is coming up around failure and your relationship with failure. And I talk to organizations about how they feel about failure. How's it talked about? How's it referenced? If I go into a team meeting, how much of that time is spent talking about failure? And how does that make people feel around the table? And a lot of the time at the moment, organizations, teams are telling me that they'll celebrate the success, they'll think about the behaviors that they want to see more of, and they'll talk a lot about success. Those things will be part of their broadcast mechanisms of internal comms. They'll be, look at this case study that's just happened, or look at this win that we've just had, or this thing that we've just achieved. And obviously people are incentivized around these things. So that's the thing that they put their energy in talking about. And that's great. Successes are showing that things are going well and that we are doing the things that have worked before and we're implementing them again and they're continuing to deliver success. Brilliant. That's a really good thing and rightly should be celebrated. It's a good way of reinforcing what's going well, but equally it's good for morale, it's good for motivation and all that kind of good stuff. But if you're not talking about failures, you're missing a massive opportunity to learn, because the failures are the things that have gone wrong for a reason. What is that reason? Is it that something's changed? Has a customer demand changed? Has something in your service or your product changed? Has something in the system, the processes that you have changed? What's led to that failure? And you've got to have a good relationship with failure in order to understand that, learn from it, and evolve quickly to then increase your chances of being more successful next time. What I find is happening quite a lot is that the culture around organizations and teams is to not talk about failure at all. And at best, the relationship might be empathy and to say, doesn't matter that we had a failure. It's okay. You're not to blame. Let's move on. Hope you're okay. Come and talk to me if you need to talk to me about it. Let's carry on. So some form of strong empathy around the person that's maybe experienced a failure in the team. That's good. But if you want to get to high performance, you've got to think like the high performers do. Think like Pixar do or Netflix do. How do you think about failure in a way that gives everyone the opportunity to learn? In Netflix, they have this thing called spotlighting, where if you make a mistake, the expectation, the culture is that you spotlight that mistake. So you broadcast what the mistake was and you talk about what you learned from that. Absolute radical candor at its best. Same in Pixar. They run these kind of post-mortem sessions after their films, and everybody, no matter what your role, is expected to contribute, point out errors, mistakes, highlight things that you think could have gone better. And it takes a lot to get to that level. Like, that's really high up on the high performance maturity level. And I'm not saying go from where you are today to that level, but there are stages that you can follow to get from A to B. And have a think about how you can bring some of those things in. I'll give you one freebie on here, and that's the idea of a pre-mortem. Pre-mortem's a great little tool. So imagine you're going to go into a project, and this new project is going to be starting in a couple of weeks' time. And you run a workshop called a pre-mortem. And the whole headline of this workshop is to gather the team that will be delivering this project and say, right, imagine everything that could possibly go wrong with this project. And that's all we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about every single failure that could possibly be imagined in this workshop. And that's all we're going to do. And that's a great way of starting your team to think about their relationship with failure and just it being part of a normal conversation that happens in your business. And if somebody in your team then actually volunteers proactively and says, I've made a mistake and I learned something from that, really celebrate that. It will take a lot to get to this. The natural inclination for people is to talk about their successes, what's gone wrong. And if they are going to spotlight a failure in the early stages, they'll probably really dress it down. They'll probably try and butter it up or decorate it in a way that doesn't give the true reflection of what happened and therefore the valuable lesson. So you've really got to work at this behavior, this mentality, this culture change. But it's so valuable if you get it right.